What's going on, folks? This is Happy, and you're on with One Down, Five Up.
One down, five up.
One
Welcome,
down,
everybody.
five up.
How's everyone doing today?
Boogie.
Hey,
Yeah,
we
what's up?
finally let Happy do an intro.
I know, it's actually, I didn't know what to do, actually. I didn't get cut off. I forgot actually how to do the intro because I've never actually gotten to do the intro yet.
Yeah.
But, welcome everyone. Welcome back. Boog,
Yes.
you're at your birth store right now.
Yep. This is where what they would say cut my teeth.
This is what cut your teeth, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, you getting that nostalgic feel right now?
Yeah, man. I feel like I'm home. Like,
This is where it started.
yeah, like the prodigal son has returned.
It felt weird for me walking in the store.
It didn't for me. I felt like I was home.
It felt weird. It's just been 2 years since we were at Baker American Cycles here. I mean,
Nope.
definitely different feel, definitely different people.
I mean,
Definitely
it feels pretty good for me, but that's just because I drove 15 minutes to get here
I
versus
understand.
2 hours.
2 hours. Yeah. It was.
So-
I mean,
It was fine. I loved it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just welcome home.
Welcome home.
So, one thing that Baker American Cycles has managed to do here versus what we have is they've been able to maintain a decent Harley relationship with their local Harley dealer.
Yep, the local Harley dealer here. They can buy parts from. They get along fairly well considering.
They
what
actually get a
need one
discount plus
Yeah.
tax.
It's competition, but it's friendly competition.
Friendly competition.
Yep. Yep.
So, which brings me into our episode. What have we done?
time. I presume we've done something horribly wrong, and we've, I don't know. I've never been treated like this in my life.
I mean,
Ever.
have you seen this in the car business where it's like you
No.
are like completely spited, like completely like
Nope.
shunned for just being,
Nope.
just
Won't even
Just for
sell you
breathing.
anything.
Just for breathing.
for breathing?
So to give context, we should kind of say what happened in the last little bit.
Okay, so what has happened is, if anyone has followed any of our things, we've talked about the Happy Kyle Productions.
Correct.
Right? And if anyone follows our videos at Battleship Cycles and Marine,
They know that we bash, or not really bash,
No,
but
we don't bash.
just joke around about Harley every now and then.
and we've never mentioned their name. I'm not going to mention their name now, but it's something that is just kind of funny because of all the videos that we've done about Harley, Kyle.
Yeah, we've
It's the
done
last
a
video.
couple that's like, we did one where we were like, we want something American made, and then we popped a Harley in, and then I can't remember who it was. but I
No,
was like, I
it was
said
Ace. It was
American.
Chris. It
yeah.
was Chris. He was, I said I want something American.
Yeah, yeah.
And
just
nothing.
Small little stuff. Small
Little digs
stuff.
here and there, but just something funny, okay?
Yeah.
Nothing there. We did the one with about the services. Where you were like, hold on, take my money. The first time you threw money in my face.
because the Harley services are a lot more expensive.
A lot
oil
more
changes and
expensive.
stuff like that. Yeah.
Versus ours, and they didn't get pissed off about that one,
But now the most recent one,
which
where
was
you were homeless, technically.
no, I wasn't homeless. I just wanted a Harley. I think, and the thing is that one, people have commented about that. The customers have come in and say,
Yeah.
"I love that video. I love that video." Like you thought
Something real simple. It was funny. At the very beginning of the video, we got Happy sitting there. He looks homeless. We try to make him look homeless, and we got him on the curb. I walk up. All you really see is my feet. But I walk up, and I dropped you like $10 or whatever it was.
Can you actually play the video right now for people to see?
I mean, they can look it up, but I can't play it at the specific moment because I don't have a way to
But you could post
put
it to our-
over.
you could put it- post
we could
it-
put it on our Instagram.
Okay.
I could definitely do that in the future. Is post it on the YouTube
But yeah,
thing
but-
as it goes.
Basically, you dropped $10 at my feet
Yeah,
and walk off, and I was like, "What the heck, man?"
yeah,
And you're like, "What? I'm just trying to help you out."
yep.
And I was just like, "I'm not homeless. I just want a Harley."
Yeah, and it's just something really funny and just simple. And then, of course, I sit down next to him, and there's only one part that I could see, and it was you said I think you said something like I just left Harley and they didn't have anything or something like that, which is
But that's the industry in general, though.
Yeah, nobody
So
has
that's
anything.
that's not us digging on
And-
them. I'll admit that we don't have Indians right now.
yeah.
Well,
but
we
at
have
the
like
same
3.
time, we have a bunch of
We
Harleys.
do have a bunch of Harleys.
And even at our sister store right now, Baker American Cycles, which we are at right now, we
Yep.
have a bunch of freaking Harleys.
Yeah, we are live from BAC. It's kind of like being at Disney World, when they do like those live episodes at Disney World. That's what I feel like right now.
Yeah, because I mean, there's someone buying an Indian right over there. It looks like.
Yeah.
I mean, a couple people looking at triumphs.
We never do this during business hours, but with them having to travel and everything, we made an exception.
Yep.
So people can kind of hear
We
us live,
appreciate
which
it.
is cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's kind of neat experience. But
For sure.
What else do you think it is, though, Joe?
I mean, personally, what I think it is that we've mastered to do something they haven't been able to do in such a market that has been they kind of been dormant in a market that has just been just.
Do you think it's Harley in general then?
I don't want to say the wrong thing and make more people mad, but I mean I think it's just because other Harley stores they're doing great, they're doing fine, and
It could be the fact that they have the name and they think everybody's going to come because of the name.
and they have a great product.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They have a great location and they have a great market, but we're able to do what they can't.
Yeah.
Which is what?
Sell Harleys.
Well,
I was going to say give it customer experience.
That's why they buy, is because our experience is a lot better than theirs. But
and that was one thing I wanted to bring up. I've heard this from different people in Wilmington. I don't go down to Wilmington every day or every weekend. I go down there every now and then, and I hear about the experience. It's not the same as Harley. Harley, is just kind of iffy, is what I've heard. So, like, I don't hear that much stories, but you guys being down there, what's your experience with Harley?
I'll let Joe kick it off.
Yeah, so there was basically, when we moved, there was two stories, right? There was one that the Honda Suzuki store in town,
which is now Pirate Ship.
That is, thank God we bought it, because it was, you go in and you're not getting, no one even bats an eye. They don't even look up from their desk to talk to you. And then there's Harley that they can't do business there because it's so bad,
It's a missed market.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the constant thing I hear when people come into our store is, I'm done with Harley business. I'm done with Harley dealerships. And it's not the product itself. It's the whole experience of buying a Harley, dealing with the expense of a Harley. And there's like, I'm done with dealing with Harley.
Yep.
I don't want to deal with them anymore. So do you guys work on Harleys? Yeah, we have. I mean, our service tech was their best mechanic, which was kind of funny because I've heard customers joke about that. It's like,
yeah. So I mean, we've never been in the store. We've never tried to buy from these stores. We just hear what people tell us when they're coming in, and they're not made up stories. It's stuff we hear. I mean, because we ask, why and why this, just so we don't make the same mistakes ourselves. Because you can fall in that rut of,
definitely
trying to, just get through the day. You can fall in the rut and not give someone the best experience. And we want to make sure we don't end up like them.
Yeah, and I've thought about going into Harley, but just the fact that me and Happy come out with these videos every now and then, and they're upset about little punny, jokey videos, like they can come out with their own. That is completely fine. It's friendly competition. It's just fun, and it's
I don't think it's the competition thing, because
do you think they're just upset?
I don't know, because for years you didn't have to give the experience because it was
the only one.
If you're the only American brand in the area, okay, you don't have to be the best. You just have to be there.
If anything, they're upset that there's any competition at all.
But he's got money.
Yeah.
He has 3
and that's
stores.
not his only store. Yeah.
He has 3 stores. He has the money, enough money where he can say, "I don't want your money." And I've heard it from them when they are from our tech. He's like, he'll fire customers. Like, nope, don't want your money anymore. Which, trust me, at times I wouldn't mind. But
yeah, and have we said that on the podcast yet about that? With the parts situation that y'all are going through. I mean, that's insane that they're trying to stop you guys from getting parts and stuff.
I mean, so I don't think it's a competition, except for one time. He actually did call up Carson. Did you hear about this?
No.
You remember this conversation, right? He actually called up.
Staying quiet.
Yes, I do.
He actually called up Carson when we first we were probably in business for maybe about 6 months or something like that. And he goes, "You have to raise your prices on your Harleys."
Oh.
And Carson's like, "Why?" And he goes, "We can't sell them against you guys on your used Harley market." And it was just like, yeah, it's kind of a weird request, and I'm not going. We're going to sell our product at what we want to sell our product at.
Yeah.
So, and that was the first time that they banned us from the store.
Well, I mean, and that's part of the Harley Davidson thing. Like when you HD Harley Davidson, it stands for $100.
I can't say anything because India's not much better in a lot of ways, shapes, and forms.
Yeah.
Because parts are expensive.
An experience.
It is an experience.
Every Indian dealership that I've gone into has been the nicest thing ever. And I'm not saying every Harley dealership is terrible. The one in town here in Fayetteville is fine. I've been in there a couple times and everything, but they always look at me and they never give me any 2 seconds. But then again, I don't look like a Harley rider, so I can't ask for too much.
You don't look like a motorcycle rider in general.
But
Maybe
that's the
I
thing.
should lower my
but that's the
voice
thing
and talk
that
like Abby.
Harley's going after these people now. With the live wire and the whatever
The
their
Pan America.
adventure
Yeah.
bike, they're going after the people that look like you, Kyle.
And they're
going
finally kind of catching up in a way where they're bringing out something that's interesting to the younger generation.
Yeah, so they should be jumping all over you, trying to get you involved too.
Yeah.
Do you think Harley's lost its identity?
I think they have an identity with classic motorcycles, and they're not willing to get rid of it and move on. And now it's too late for them.
Oh,
I don't.
okay.
That's kind of how I look at it. Like, I think that Harley is trying to come out with some new things every now and then, but at the same time, like, in some ways it's too late. But then again, they could bounce back. You never know.
So what I believe in is you're good at what you're good at, and you should stay good at what you're good at, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's things in the store we try, and when we're not good at it, we're not good at that. We're never going to try that again because we're not
Me
good
with
at
boats.
it. Yeah, we're just not good at it.
Me with boats.
Yeah,
Like,
stay away from
like,
the freaking boats.
I'm not allowed to go near the boat people.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. Like, we just know we're going to stay good at what we're good at, and we're not going to
Okay.
try to do anything we're not.
So with that being said, I mean, I think Harley's kind of lost its identity. They've been scrambling these past few years to try and reinvent themselves. They brought out the live wire, sank thousands and thousands, millions of dollars into the live wire, and it fell flat. Okay.
It did. I mean, the expense, I think, is what made the live wire not work. Because
Yeah.
we're going to talk about it on one of the future episodes about electric motorcycles, and I really think it's the new wave. But the total, expense of owning a live wire, the charging, everything you have to have, I think that was just a big turnoff to customers.
Okay. I think it's weird that the Pan America. I mean, when you think adventure bike, you're not thinking Harley Davidson. I heard it's an amazing motor.
Yeah, I heard it's great bike. I mean, I don't know. I mean, are they out yet technically?
Yeah, they're out, I
Customers
think.
have them.
When Harley's even fallen out of the flat track racing, right?
Oh
Well,
my gosh!
yeah, they had
they
to.
didn't just fall out of flat track racing; they got their
And see,
asses
I
stomped.
got
I don't
out.
follow all that, so I'm not going to act like I know everything by any means. But at the same time, when I hear about it, I'm just like, okay, like.
So Indian swept the podium for first 4 years of the flat track racing scene. Okay, me and the hooligan riders, they actually swept the podium, and then this year the top two were Indian riders, but all top three bikes were Indian riders. And after year 3, Harley didn't. There was more Indians by independents in the flat track racing scene than
Because they
any
wanted
other
to
brand.
keep up, yeah.
They wanted to keep up more than any other brand. Harley had just Harley in there, just their riders, and they weren't even placed at all. To the point where they alter the rules of some sort to say all right, if you're a non-sponsored rider, you can't race here against me type thing. So
my goodness.
to water down so that way it couldn't be any non-Indians. It could only be sponsored riders in their class.
So that way it would be more.
Either Yamaha, Indian, or
Yeah.
Harley. Okay, and then this past year, they had no sponsorship at all in the flat track racing scene. This 5th year,
Because,
which
yeah,
is
and that's the kind of stuff I've heard is the sponsorship thing. I didn't really realize all that went behind it, but when you fall flat out of something that you've, in the past,
the number
been pretty
one,
decent.
the Harley number one, all stems from the heritage of the flat track racing. So that's where they were back in the 20s. They were number one. They're number one. Okay, that's when flat track was at its finest between Indian and Harley. And that was the whole thing that Indian was premising off of. It was hey, look, we're bringing back the heritage, but we're going to stomp your ass.
Yeah.
Okay,
And that's where Joe was saying you stick to what you are good at. And if
Yeah.
they were good at it, they should have stuck with it and kept pushing it. And instead they fall. It's like they put up the white flag. They were done.
So we'll see, because now they're kind of going into reinventing the Bagger Race League. Well, they invented the Bagger Race League. So you got Tyler O'Hara and Kyle Wyman, who are now 2-2 against each other, right?
Okay.
And they've opened up more classes. So now the new Pan American engine, the 1250 engine, the Sportster engine, they just happen in the Bagger Race League. They've opened up 2 new classes: the Scouts versus Sporties, the new
Okay.
Sportster, and then basically FTR against the Pan America.
Okay.
Okay, but even then, the Chief in its opening race of the Bagger Race League, it stomped their Softail by 15 seconds.
Ooh. Yeah, so it's not even close.
So
it's,
it'll be
it's not even, obviously you can have rider experience and stuff like that, but when it's 15 seconds and
But the funny thing is that once again, the market is saturated with Harleys, and you have two Indians. Okay, in the big bagger, you had Garcia and O'Hara against 13 other Harleys, and
Completely stumped.
and then they're taking 1 and 3. So it's kind of one of those things where
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
what is it that Harley is where they're missing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think when they killed the dyno was kind of like where they lost their identity
Mm-hmm.
a lot.
I will definitely agree with that. I don't know why they would ever get rid of their most popular model.
I mean, I like their new Sportster. It looks cool.
But it's not the Dyna. I mean, the
Yeah.
Dyna
Yeah.
had cult following.
Even with me and wheelies, a lot of people want the Dynas, and they have to get the old Dynas because there's no such thing anymore.
Yeah, I think they should bring the dyno back. I don't think the Softail was the way to go, but I mean, hey, I'm not the one that handles their marketing or their, you know.
I mean,
We're not trying to-
it was a younger man bike that I think was going to usher in that new wave of. Because no matter what you say, Softail is just not. It's not a Dyna. It's not that double coilover. To the point where Indian actually with their Chief, it's actually the double coilover rear suspension. It looks more like a Dyna than anything that Harley's doing right now, and they're going after that market. I
Yeah.
mean, I was just named it.
I mean, and they're getting it. If you want a new Dyna, you got to go to Indian to get something close. I mean, but if you want to, pre-own one, then there you go. I mean, there's plenty out there though. So to an
yes,
extent,
they flooded the market.
yeah.
So I don't know, but what else? I mean, what else could it be? Anything?
I mean, I just think I think, like I said earlier, I think they stuck too much to the whole, heritage thing. Joe kind of thinks they should have stuck with that. So we're kind of going back and forth in a way. But at the same time, like, it's hard to know what they should have done to fix
Well, I
it.
really.
Yeah, I think
The only reason I want to know,
Yeah.
sorry,
Yeah.
is so that way we can stay ahead of them.
Yeah, for sure. I think people these days are so into like, whatever someone else is doing, I'm gonna do the opposite, right? Because they're so into like, being their own person. Everything's so, how it is nowadays. They want to make sure. So if they see all these people riding Harleys, they want to do something different.
Yeah.
No one wants to have the Me Too bike. What are you riding a Harley? Oh, Me Too. No one
Let me
wants
guess,
that.
a black one?
Yeah, no one wants
Yeah.
that. So I think that's part of, the generational living now just wants to
Yeah.
do something different than everyone else.
And that's something that a lot of people come into any store that sells Indians that we have. They look at the Indians, they're like, okay, this is the blah, blah. A lot of it seems similar in a lot of ways, but at the same time, it's different. It's
Yeah.
not the same as all their friends and everything, which some people want the exact same thing their friends have. Some people want something a little different.
We had a customer recently. He went and bought a Harley. He sold us back his Indian. And
Oh.
it was because, and we're like, we don't understand why you do this. He goes, well, I know it's a better bike. What happens if I'm over here in the middle of the world and it breaks down? I could go find a Harley dealership within 50 miles. I was like, so we're going to base our whole riding experience just off of that chance that it's going to break down. Well, okay. He goes, you wouldn't understand. I was like, you're going to tell me I don't understand? I've gone coast to coast
Yeah.
more times than he'll ever do
Yeah.
in his life. So it was just kind of funny. It's just like, so what is it? He goes, and I think it was a fit-in thing where it's like
Yeah.
all his friends, honestly, were riding Harleys, and he went and got the most Me Too bike of the century right now, a Black Road Glide Special. But,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great bike, but it's not a Challenger. It's not a Chieftain.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just one of those things.
I think it's, I don't know. I want to say there is, going back to how we started this, have they lost their identity? The identity of trying to reshape themselves. For years, they were just the only one on scene. Only American bike. They didn't have to put out a new Street Glide. They didn't have to redesign their fairings, which they haven't done in freaking years. Right? Same Batwing fairing, same Road Glide fairing, that Shark Nose fairing. The getting rid of the Dyna was like the biggest thing they've done in years. That was in 2017. And then they just dropped the Sportster this past year. So they redesigned that with that, I would say, more hideous bike.
I like the sport.
The new Sportster?
Yeah, I think it's fine. I like it.
I think it's absolutely atrocious with those pipes.
I mean, the pipes are one of the easiest things on a bike to change. So I
Okay.
don't judge things how pipes look because I can change
I know.
those.
Listen, but they're going after that new. But I think it's one of those things where it's like they still have that stigma to it, where they're still that I'm a Harley guy. I don't need a freaking change. You don't want my product? Then fine, go ahead. I mean, and I think that's kind of the sense in the town is that here we are, the new kids on the block. A couple of years, we said 2 years, but I mean, we're still new kids on the block.
Yeah, we've only been there 2 years, and one of the things that we talked about before is at one point in time, I think we brought it up in a podcast, or we might have said it in a video or something, that we were selling at that specific time more Harleys in the Harley dealership, which isn't any mean thing to them. It was just like something that it was happening at the time, but they didn't have any Harleys to sell, and we did.
Yeah.
So, and ours were priced really well.
And we're very grateful for all the success that we have had. We're not like, we're
not the best.
Yeah, we're not saying we're the best.
No, I don't think that's.
And we're not saying that we're not grateful. We're definitely grateful for all the success in our customers and just the following we have. Because without that, we wouldn't have a dealership.
I think what the big thing is that I would like to say we're actually humble in a lot of ways, and I think that actually starts with boss. Okay.
Yeah, because essentially we don't care if we sell a Harley or of course we want to sell an Indian first. But if a customer comes in and wants an Indian or a Harley, we try to let them buy what they want to buy.
And when they're looking for a bike, if they say we want a new bike, we point them to Indian. But if they say we're looking at a bike, it's not like, oh, you don't want any of those.
Yeah,
we try to tell them all the differences.
It's a friendly competition. They ask what the difference is. I mean, I've been specifically instructed not to, if someone wants to come in for a Harley, because we have to sell those too, or if they come in for, when we have any used of the metric bikes, you know what I'm saying? It's like, if they come in, we don't downplay and knock the other brands. I mean, I might have joke here and there, but that's just because that's me.
Even at y'all's store, here, we don't even have that many used Indians, in stock. The used Indians that we do have, they're like brand new, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the used Indians you guys have, they don't last long. So once you go to the pre-owned, it's all Harleys, and they're like, oh, well, so my options are between all these Harleys and then this one Indian. So it's kind of one of those things where it's harder for them to step into Indian. So then they might be looking at a Harley. It's just, it all depends on their price range, what they're looking at.
I think we're getting in the weeds. I think it comes down to the customer experience, because I think we, like Joe says, that we're very grateful for our customers. We're very grateful for our people. That's why we actually even started this podcast in a lot of ways, just to actually get another way to reach out to talk to these customers, to say, hey, look, you might get more of a personal side to us, just because we try to very much engage. I mean, my whole goal when I deal with the customers is to try to give them the best experience as possible, and to actually place them on the bike that I think is appropriate to them. And like I said in the beginning, a lot of customers coming to us are like, I'm sick of dealing with them. It's just that, I think it's that old school mentality of, we don't have to change because we're the only show in town. And they haven't caught up to the fact that,
part of me from hearing all this wants me to go down there and just see what it's like, but I know if I step foot in there, they're going to recognize me.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of Harley stores all over, though. It's not, I don't think they're doing anything different than most Harley stores that aren't on the gas. I mean, I think that you hear these horror stories pretty much in every town from every Harley dealership. They're all following the same routine. Someone needs to, take someone else to, I think it starts from Harley at the top.
Even goes that story that we just had this past weekend, right?
Uh-oh.
Did you hear the story?
If it's this past weekend, I'm sure I have not heard it yet.
So we had a customer who was shopping between us and the Harley dealership.
Okay.
They were bringing in a bike for them, and they said, don't worry about it. We actually just bought one instead. And they're like, where'd you buy one? They're like, at the Indian store down the road. And they're like, okay, click. Straight up.
They hung up on them?
Just, okay, click. That's it. Hung up. Nothing. So they're like, all right, well, I guess that kind of just...
That's so stupid, though, because you guys, even though you guys are competition in a way, when you have to buy parts, from Harley.
Some stuff, there's some proprietary stuff. So, it's making my job tougher. But I'm still going to get parts. I'm still going to get the parts.
Why would they not do that? Because that's business for them. They're saying no to business just because they don't want to...
Yeah, so if it was me, I would have said to the customer, hey, I understand, I get it, and I'm glad you bought a Harley. But, hey, remember, whenever you need service, I'm going to be your local Harley dealer. Why don't you make sure you bring it by me? Or, hey, you just bought the used Harley. Why don't you let me look it over and make sure everything is okay with it? Try to retain them. Try to get them back into my dealership for whatever reason. But they did decide just to hang up on them.
So now that customer, I think, is just going to be one of many that we've had that is like, thank you very much, and we'll just keep our business over here.
One of those horror stories. And that's one thing that I've seen with all the stores. You're never going to have every single customer be happy. There's going to be one every now and then, but for all of our ratings for every single store has been really good for the most part, which is awesome compared to like some of the stores I've seen.
Once
which
again,
is rough. It's that customer experience.
It's that customer experience. I like to say we give a good one, but
Yeah.
I mean, I could be wrong. I could be completely inflated in my own mind, like I normally am about everything else. But
Well, we'll
don't
just
think-
leave it at that. We'll not get into that.
what are you trying to say here?
No, nothing.
Well, this hasn't been one of like our normal episodes.
No, I honestly hadn't used the board. It's been very serious.
Been
Very-
no bad words. I think we'll have a good. People will like this episode a lot more with no happy cussing. So
no happy cussing, no happy. There's been no stepping on. I think it's been one of our more put together episodes.
yeah, for sure.
I mean, so
And for something that we don't want to make the Harley dealership any more mad than they already are. And I think we kind of accomplished kind of bringing up some of the issues that are going on without stepping over toes too much.
I mean, if you heard this episode, Joe,
Yep.
if you heard this episode and you were on the other side, what would you take away?
I would take it as I need to do better. I would probably listen to it 3 times, take notes, and then go back to my people and be like, hey, this is what we need to do better to make sure that we can be the best in town.
Yeah.
I want to be the best. I want to make sure my people are getting the best experience. But what do I need to do? And that's pretty much what I would do. But then again, hey, I don't run that store. I run
Yeah.
mine.
In the end, we don't want to tell anybody that we're better and at everything, anything, whatever.
No,
But
we'll let
at
our
the same
customers do
time-
that.
Yeah. I just want to, I want to make sure my people are given the best experience. That would be the best. That would what I would take away
Trying
from
to
it.
keep it down.
Nah, we'll keep what down?
Just controversy. I don't want to make him.
I think I just breed controversy, honestly.
You know, one thing that I'm excited about is, like they got butt hurt over the video. I'm not going to stop making these videos with you. It's all just stupid.
I need to figure out how
jokes.
to make more videos that are going to
It's
piss
just
them
little
off.
jokes. It's little jokes. You gotta. It's like one of those things where like you gotta take the joke. If you're gonna dish out the jokes all the time and stuff like that.
Oh,
When you walk in a Harley dealership, they're probably talking so much junk.
Well,
So
I guess I've grown up. I guess I've grown up as a motorcycle rider. I've ridden Victory and I've ridden Indian. Okay.
Yeah.
So I've always ridden with a sea of Harleys. So it's always been funny especially when I've been on an Indian, that whenever I've gone coast to coast, every gas station, they'll go through a sea of Harleys to get to an Indian. Okay, like it's just a stranger, some person. They're like, "Oh my God, is that your motorbike?" It's like, "Yeah, that's my motorbike."
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Where do you ride your bike to? Do they say motobike?
It was this. That one was
Do
in.
you ride your bike to foreign countries? What are you doing?
It was okay. This was actually in
the
outside
best at
Vegas.
jumping too. They
Yeah,
jump
they jump
overseas.
Like my
they jumped-
motorbike.
they
like,
actually-
where were you at?
I was outside
Please-
Vegas. I was outside Vegas.
Vegas. That's
I was
what.
outside
Really,
Vegas.
really.
Yes.
Vegas are like motobike in Vegas.
There was this
Bro,
bunch of
no
there was a
way.
bunch of hot girls.
No
Okay,
way, Jose.
There was a bunch of hot girls that that were going to Vegas for a thing. Me and my boy were outside and we were like, hey, and they were like, they're like, are those your motorbikes? It's like, yep, those definitely are motorbikes. So, and then
feel
they
like
all
his
then they all
experience of
floundered,
Vegas-
they all flocked over to my bike and they left his Harley like flat. And he was like, that's just not fair. Same dude, his niece, okay, who was like 2 at the time, still went to my bike over his bike. It was just like, I've seen it. Why you?
I believe. Okay, cool. It's your story, man. You live it.
I hate you.
You live your stories, man. I'll live my stories, and you live
You have
yours.
stories?
You have stories, but they're not motobikes in Vegas. I know that.
Okay. Do you have any kind of bike stories?
Yeah, we'll get into more episodes, man.
I would love to hear one
We need
right
to wrap.
now.
Nope,
you
we gotta wrap this one up. man. This
Oh,
one's-
we're just going to cut this one off.
this
We're
one's
right here.
long.
Okay.
In the end, we want to say we hope everybody that enjoys motobikes enjoys this podcast.
Yeah. Just motorbikes.
Yes. I don't know why it's the one thing that came to my mind. Okay.
It
but,
sounded really weird. I
Motorbikes
let it
and
go,
Motorbikes.
and I'm glad Joe brought it right back up.
All right.
I was hoping to go through that one, but that's all of that.
Oh, it's all
Anyways,
good.
so I think we're basically doing a bunch of stories, and we're going to keep doing our videos. We're just going to keep on being us.
We're gonna have a lot of fun.
Exactly.
That's the whole thing. It's all about customer experience, having fun, and riding with our friends.
But otherwise, I mean, this has been another episode of 1 Down, 5 Up,
And we hope you enjoyed it.
I'm happy.
And I'm Kyle.
And I'm Joe. See you later.
See you guys later.
Bye.